Last night I was scrolling ESPN.com. I went to their week 1 college football schedule and I clicked on Miami versus Florida, right? Now they got something called a matchup projector where they project both teams' chances of being able to win said game. And when I looked at what their projections were for Florida's chances of beating Miami, they gave them a 57.3% chance to take down the Canes week 1, which absolutely shocked me. And they only give Miami a 40-something% chance to win this game, which is extremely disrespectful considering the fact that Miami has out-recruited Florida. Every year Mario Cristobal has been on the job, they've had a top 10 recruiting class. Florida has yet to recruit and bring in a top 10 class under Billy Napier. On average, they're around the 12th to 13th ranked recruiting class in the nation. Miami also has done a better job of getting better talent out of the transfer portal as compared to Florida. Florida just brought in their best transfer class under Billy Napier, which they were 5th according to 247 Sports transfer portal rankings. And I'm really trying to figure out what makes Florida a better team than Miami in this game, and what about them is so good that they have a 57.3% chance of winning this game. Is it because they're playing in the swamp? Because I don't think playing in the swamp in 2024 means much anymore. I remember this was the same place that Arkansas came away with the victory at last year, right? Did Arkansas make it to a bowl game last season? No, they did not. They actually were one of the worst teams in the SEC. But the swamp is such a tough place to play. Arkansas was able to get a victory, right? This is 2024, people. It's not 2008. It's not 2009. Do you see Urban Meyer roaming the sidelines as Florida's head coach? No, you don't. They got Billy Napier. They got number 15 at quarterback still, but it's not Tim Tebow rocking that 15. It's Graham Mertz. When you compare both Miami and Florida from a talent standpoint and you go position by position, Miami is a better team than the Gators all across the board. There's not a single position where Florida is more talented than Miami at. Miami, not only are they the more talented team, but they are the more well-coached team in this game. Mario Cristobal has won a conference championship at the P4 level, Power 5 level at the time when he was at Oregon. You got to give him props for winning a Pac-12 championship, because what major conference title has Billy Napier ever won? The Sun Belt championship doesn't trump winning a Power 5 conference. So why is it that Mario Cristobal continues to get compared to Billy Napier when he's achieved way more than what Billy Napier ever has as a head coach? This is really disrespectful of ESPN to slight Miami like this, because Florida, for some reason, is viewed as a powerhouse program in this game, and Miami has everything to prove. No. Florida has more to prove in this game than Miami. Miami, if they win this game, everybody's going to tell you, well, they should have won this game with them being the better team. But if Florida wins this game, everybody's going to look at it and use that to slide against Miami, because people expect Miami to handle business in the swamp this year. Anything other than a win out of Mario Cristobal and this team is a major disappointment. Florida doesn't have as much to lose as what Miami has in this game from a reputation standpoint. Florida has an over-under win total of 4.5. Miami is projected to be the second or maybe the best team in the ACC this year. So I don't see what makes Florida such a big favorite in ESPN's eyes that they have such a high chance to win this game according to their matchup projector. 57.3% chance to win against Miami. I don't care if you're playing at home. You're nowhere close to as good as what Miami is. So I'm really am ready for this game to kick off because at this point, all it is just people harping on how bad Miami has been in the past, how they've always tend to underachieve, and just people overlooking just how down and out Florida football has been these last couple of years. People are talking about how everybody always says Miami's always going to be back, and yet they never are. But Florida is a shell of what they used to be. There was a point in college football when you were scared to play Florida. Now you look at Florida as an easy win if you're Texas, Alabama, Georgia, or who else is amongst one of the top teams in the SEC. Playing in the swamp doesn't have the prestige or the difficulty that it used to have a decade ago. And people have to get that out of their head. Florida is just not a good program anymore. And they're close to becoming the next Nebraska, especially if they lose this game and potentially lose to the other in-state rivals that they got to play this year, UCF and Florida State. But this is just ridiculous how this narrative is being pushed that Miami has more to lose in this game than Florida. Billy Napier is coaching for his job. A loss here makes the hot seat incredibly hotter than what it already is. It's scorching hot at this point. I can't even imagine how hot it's going to be with the loss if you're Billy Napier. You probably won't even be able to sit down on the chair at that point. This just makes no sense how Florida is getting more of the benefit of a doubt of getting the win in this game when they're not as talented as Miami, they're not as well coached, and this is a team that didn't even make it to a bowl game last year.